It's called Kindle Fire.
Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is to buy the Washington Post for $250 million. The deal ends an era of family control at the newspaper, and is likely to shake up the Post and the entire U.S. newspaper industry. Joining me now to talk about it is the editor of the Financial Times, Lionel Barber. Lionel, you worked at the Washington Post. This is a big deal, but this is a big family deal. You want to talk a little bit about the Graham family, but also the family of reporters there?
Well, it's a wrenching move and decision for Donald Graham, the head of the Washington Post company, son of the famed Katharine Graham, who I had the fortune to meet. I know Don, I've known him ever since I worked at the Washington Post in the summer of 1985 as the Lawrence Stern Fellow on the national staff. I think I bumped into you, Chris, in the newsroom. Yeah. I mean, Don is a very proud man. He was attached to the Post. It had a great tradition, not just Watergate, of breaking stories and attracting the best talent. And it was a close-knit family, very, very proud. And it's a story after 80 years where essentially they ran out of road.
How did they lose their way? They had a great, vast newsroom of reporters. What happened to that newsroom?
More than 800. I couldn't believe it when I walked in there. That's the set, by the way, for All the President's Men.
Yeah.
And headed by Ben Bradley, the editor with the strut. And he got all these talented people. And the fact is, after he left, I think the paper lost its way because they didn't go full in on digital. They had an offer by two reporters at the time who came up with this idea of a political website, and it was turned away. I mean, it was at the time of the dot-com boom.
And that today is Politico, which every day, some people think, eats the Post lunch with its reporting of the daily political news. That, when I was there, the Post was the political paper of Washington, but also probably the country. And when you lose that franchise, they were struggling. And I think part of it is that they became a local paper. The FT is very much a global paper, and I think you can talk a little bit about that strategy to keep an audience.
Well, I remember Don Graham ringing me in 2002 when Arthur Sulzberger jumped on him and said, I want to buy the stake that the Post had in the International Tribune. And Don was very upset about this, and he wanted to, in fact, have a collaborative arrangement with the Financial Times because he wanted that international exposure, and he had that with Newsweek. By the way, another casualty in the Washington Post group. The fact is, they went for a local strategy, fair enough, in the local counties, Prince George's County in Maryland, and then in Virginia, but they lost some of the ground in their absolute core, which was Washington and the federal government, and I think that hurt them.
Why does Bezos want the Washington Post?
Still a great brand name, still a great news brand.
Yeah.
They've still got some excellent reporters, and I think he can probably do things. I don't think, by the way, from what I hear, it's certain that they're going to give up the paper at all because there's revenues attached to that. And also, by the way, they've got a $600 million surplus in the pension fund. So this is not a business which is on its last legs. It just needs to rethink what it's doing and its market and reinvent itself as a brand.
So it's not the end of an era, it's the beginning of another era?
Definitely, but of course the other key point is, for Don Graham, he was running a public company, expected returns, running it as a private company, undercover. They've got a bit more room for maneuver, and also, of course, it was a diminishing asset. He only sold it for $250 million.
Yeah.
He could have got a lot more several years ago.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good talking, Chris.
Mm-hmm.